You may know in West Virginia we have 20,000 teachers, 20,000. And tonight you're going to hear in a minute here from Andrea, who is, we saw this morning is the best of the best. Thank you so much for sharing. We this morning had a group of high school students in this room, and it was very memorable. Let me tell you. Andrea began her teaching career in Logan County 23 years ago. In 1995, she came to Logan High School as a Spanish teacher. During her time at Logan, she has also taught theater, film appreciation, and she currently serves as the chair of the Fine Arts Department. Her passion for education has been instrumental in several projects throughout the country, and you will see it the second she shows up on stage, that passion. This morning, again, she shared that passion, and it came through to all of our local high school students, and we all learned a lot. It's my absolute pleasure to welcome Andrea Santos, the 2016 West Virginia Teacher of the Year.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain, Shenandoah River is where I'm from. Wildflowers, moonshine, and mountains made of black diamonds. The birthplace of the Hatfield and McCoy feud, where Princess Aracoma fell in love with Bowling Baker and Chief Cornstalk's lament. Home of Brigadier General Charles Chuck Yeager, who in 1947 broke the sound barrier. Birthplace of the original rocket boy, Homer Hickam. We are sky, we are water, tree, and valley, rich and writers, heroes, and beautiful minds. Pearl S. Buck, the Tuskegee Airmen, and John Nash. And here in West Virginia, the Mothman and the ghosts of Mamie Thurman still haunt these evening mountains. Take me home, country roads, to the place I belong, West Virginia, mountain mama. Oh, take me home, country roads. And this is how I began my introduction of West Virginia in July of 2016 during the Parade of States at International Space Camp. After the program was over, the Dumity ladies of Huntsville, Alabama had prepared this enormous feast of Southern cooking and cuisine, and the desserts were unbelievable. So all of the state teachers got to go in first. And I was standing in line, and I was dressed in my wildflowers, and my halo, because it was almost heaven, West Virginia. And I heard a voice, "You are West Virginia." Yes, I'm from West Virginia. And I would later find out that his name was Lahuna, and he was from Shillong, India, and he was one of the international teachers who would be with us during International Space Camp. You sang Country Roads. That's my favorite song. The first time that I heard it was when I left my country and I was coming to America. I heard it on the train. He began quoting the lyrics by heart. I will never forget the song, he said. Where I'm from, everyone knows it. I watched empathetically as his eyes turned red and he swallowed up by tears, and I knew he was remembering a moment, a feeling, something important. So I joined him and I cried, because I never let anyone cry alone. And I allowed myself that moment too. We became friends that evening. Fantasy writer Terry Pritchard says, "Why do you go away? So that you can come back, so that you can see the place you came from with new eyes and extra colors, and the people there see you differently too, Coming back to where you started is not the same as never leaving. Yes, I got to travel for a year as the West Virginia State Teacher of the Year, and I got to see a lot of things. And here I am back again. And let me say, we're in a good place. West Virginia educators, we're in a good place. Our students are some of the best in the nation. So I want to thank you for this opportunity to be here today. For all of the learners and the educators among us, thank you to WVU and the College of Education and Human Services for this opportunity. And now, I get to personally introduce a friend of mine. I met Johanna in January of 2016 in San Antonio, Texas. And she was all high heels. She was a generous laugh. She's still all high heels. Our first conversation kind of ebbed and flowed. It was talk about destiny and the hand of providence and the power of words. And we connected at that moment. And oh my, she is vibrant. She is full of spirit, and she is authentic delight. She's the real deal. So her life story is one of tenacity and courage in the face of circumstances. She carries a fully loaded weapon of voice with her. Her voice is dressed in hope. It's dressed in advocacy, change, and service. One of my favorite books is a novel by Mexican-American novelist Sandra Cisneros, and it's The House on Mango Street. And the book tells the story of a young Esperanza who is faced with a lot of difficulties in her life. And through vignettes, you learn about prejudice, discrimination, poverty, adolescence. She's a witness. She's a witness to the faces of what happens in her community. And she doesn't like what she sees. And near the end of the book, Esperanza finds her destiny, and she finds it in paper, in books, and in an education. And there's a few lines that remind me of your journey. So I'm going to try and say this without crying, because it's a favorite book of mine too. They will not know I have gone away to come back, for the ones I left behind, for the ones who cannot out. So Johanna came back for the ones who cannot out. That's how I see your story. She is a voice. She is an agent of social change. She's an inspiration. She's a teacher who is teaching a nation about equity and voice and service and empowerment. She is a history teacher at John F. Kennedy High School and was named National Teacher of the Year in May of 2016. She was recognized by President Barack Obama in the White House at a ceremony then. Since then, she's been traveling the nation and the world representing teachers and as an advocate on behalf of the educational profession. Her students describe her enthusiasm and her work as being infectious. Over the last decade, she has taught world history, roots of American citizenship, U.S. history, civics and geography, and African American history. In addition, Ms. Hayes has worked to strategize minority teacher recruitment efforts within the district, served as the chairperson of the SOAR program and the School Governance Council, and multiple NEASC visiting committees. She is passionate about mentoring new educators and hopes to initiate a district-wide program. She earned her bachelor's degree from Southern Connecticut State University, a master's from the University of St. Joseph, and a certificate of advanced study from the University of Bridgeport. Johanna encourages her students to make a positive impact in their communities, and many have joined her in volunteering in various local and national events. Ms. Hayes was quoted as saying, "Our students need to know that they have value and that they can make a difference in this world." This honor makes that real for me. So if you will, join me in welcoming Ms. Johanna Hayes to the stage.
Thank you. I do love high heels. I'm so excited to be here today. Actually, had a little trouble getting here. Let me back it up a little. I had trouble booking my flight, and that should have been my first indicator. And today I understand why. I flew into Morgantown Airport. I use the term airport very loosely. When I was this year, I'm out of the classroom as the ambassador to the teaching profession. So I will spend the year traveling the country and the world, and everywhere you go, they have a beautiful reception, and they feed you a lot. I've eaten a lot, and I put on some weight. But when I was getting my ticket, the woman asked me, "How much do you weigh?" And I thought, that's a rather odd question. And it kind of caught me off guard, and I didn't know how to answer. So, of course, I lied. And I told her how much I want to weigh. I didn't understand the question, but then as I'm walking out to the plane, I was like, okay, I understand. So I wanted to run back inside to the counter because I have all these thoughts going through my head. And they said to me, "This is going to be a completely full flight." And it was. There were 8 of us, including the pilot and the co-pilot. I remember as I'm getting on the plane, I'm trying to remember how many people are on Gilligan's Island. And I'm like, I think there were 8. I think there were 8, right? So I'm looking around, and there's this adorable little girl who's getting on the plane. She was absolutely gorgeous. And I thought, there's no way God would ever let anything happen to her, or let her grow up on a stranded or deserted island, or, I mean, more realistically, a suburb outside of DC. But either way, like, there's no way that God will allow anything to happen to this wonderful little girl. But I could feel my cheeks getting hot because I'm thinking, oh my God, like, it's just all kinds of bad. So I'm on the plane, and I am legit sitting in between the pilot and the co-pilot. Like, literally. So I lean over because actually, it wasn't even that far. I was like, I said to the pilot, I said, I just need you to know that I may have made a mistake about my weight. So I kept telling him throughout the flight, I was like, I think it's closer to this number or this number. And he's flying the plane, and literally, I kept telling him my weight. So just really quickly, so I'm texting my family before we take off, and because I'm nervous. Like, if you saw this plane, you would be nervous for me. And everyone's texting me back, "Be safe." And I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, I have no control over this situation. What could I possibly do to make outside of telling the truth about my weight, what can I do to turn this situation around? And I just kept thinking, if you get on this plane and you go to West Virginia, you will see Andrea. So I was just so happy to see her. She always brings me up. This has been an incredibly isolating year because you spend so much time on the road, and usually I travel alone. You meet all these people, but you don't really know anyone. So I knew that I was coming to West Virginia to see someone I knew. So I got on the plane. I'm not sure why. But I got on this plane. I have to tell you, when I was selected, Andrea's class was the very first people to congratulate me. They made a video from West Virginia, and they sent it to me literally 5 minutes after the announcement, and just reminded me that you've got this. You're going to be okay. So I got on that plane to come and see you. I don't know if I'm getting back on that plane. So I'm happy to be here. I can't say that I'll ever come back. But my friend Mari Cooper's the Pennsylvania Teacher of the Year, and I've already reached out to her and said, Mari, you may have to come and get and drive me back to Pittsburgh. So I'm just so incredibly happy to be here, you know, to share in this event on this day. So thank you for inviting me. And yeah, I made it. So thank you to the university, you know, for thinking enough of teachers and the program to really celebrate the work that we do and bring people together to have a conversation about everything that's good about this profession. It was an incredibly tremendous honor for me to be named the National Teacher of the Year. And people ask me all the time, how does it feel, you know, what do you think? And I still don't know how it feels. You know, it is so incredibly humbling and exciting and amazing and just really a celebration of this profession. So for me to have a year to really talk about everything that is illuminating, the best parts of what teaching looks like and what we do, is really unbelievable. By the time this year is over, I will have visited 43 states. I'm usually on a plane 4 or 5 days a week, and several countries. I think I'm up to about 12 now, and I'm not done. I've attended professional development sessions and conferences and had the opportunity to network with all of the state teachers of the year. But it's very interesting. I walk into a room and people think you have this magic bullet, that you've mastered the art of teaching, that you know what it looks like and what the best teachers do. I want to tell you that I'm no expert at anything. I have not mastered the art of teaching. In fact, it's just the opposite. I think that I've done well in this profession because of all the mistakes that I've made, because of all the risks that I've taken. I feel like sometimes I've taken more risks and failed more times than most teachers have even tried. But I still feel like a student, and that is what propels me in this profession. Every day I'm learning, making mistakes, challenging myself, and seeking opportunities to improve my practice and produce productive outcomes for kids. Since I was announced as the 2016 National Teacher of the Year, many people have asked me about the moment, that one moment when I knew that I would be a teacher, or the people who had the most influence in my life. And for me, there is no answer to that question. I've tried to answer it over and over again. For me, teaching is a calling. It's not my career. There was no one person or one event that led me to teaching. I just always knew. I always believed in the powerful impact that teachers have on students and the world. I always believed that teachers not only taught content knowledge, but were stewards of social justice and helped to build character in their students. For me, teachers were superheroes. I was that kid who would line up dolls and teach them all the time. I had many teachers who helped to confirm this for me, but I always knew. So you can imagine how it pains me as I travel the country and the world this last year, and I ask a room full of students or high school students, college students, how many of them are contemplating education as their post-secondary career goals, or what their career choices might be? And more often than not, the number of people who say they want to be educators is diminishing. Last year, in my classes, out of 128 students, only 2 expressed an interest in teaching as a career. I felt like I was born to teach. So I really can't understand why students are answering in this way. Some people like me are born to teach. For others, it evolves over time. And for others, teaching chooses them. But no matter which one of these people you consider yourself to be, I am honored to share this space with you and grateful for the services that you provide. So why are young people not interested in pursuing education as a career? Why wouldn't my students want to enter into the profession of compassion, creativity, discipline, problem solving, personal growth, and wonder that can take responsibility for every other profession? Why wouldn't everyone want to be directly involved in moving civilization from ignorance to enlightenment? Why aren't all the hands shooting up when I ask this question? Before I was named, I spent a lot of time, as you heard, developing programs aimed at exposing students in a positive way to the teaching profession. So this is why I'm so excited to have this year as an opportunity to use my voice, to use this platform, to talk about the wonderful space that I occupy and the profession that is teaching. And to do that with so many people like me who recognize the power in this profession and how critically important it is to guide young people on the path to becoming accomplished educators. I had to spend a lot of time trying to understand why people were not being drawn to this profession. I worked on several grants. I went to lots of professional development sessions. I read scholarly journals. And I believe the biggest problem in education lies in the overall perception of who we are and what we do. And for me, perception begins with relationships. When I ask my students to talk to me about the teaching profession, they talk about the low opinion that the public has of teachers, the perceived challenges with accountability measures, with discipline. They talk about salaries and college debt and an unsupported environment. Community members and policymakers are often working with false or inaccurate information as to what this profession really looks like. You know as well as I do, that is not what teaching is about. But if that's all students hear, then it's no wonder that they're not expressing interest in teaching. If that's the only experience community members have, then they are inclined not to partner with schools or support education in their communities. When I began this year, I felt so inadequate. I would enter a room and think, everyone here has more knowledge or experience than me. And about 5 minutes in, I quickly realized, I know what teaching looks like. I do it every day. They need my help. We need some major rebranding in this profession. It's not enough to know that teaching is a great job. We have to say it and share it every chance we get. In education, we deal with people. I was introduced to you today as a history teacher. I teach history, but I teach students. And those experiences have to be personal. We need to share those stories and tell people about the good things that are happening in this profession, and the relationships are at the core of everything we do. This is how we attract young people to teaching. Kids remember the people who take an interest in their success. Students don't care what you know until they know you care. As part of my selection process, over 150 parents, students, and community members were interviewed in what they called a B-roll. There was about 3 hours of footage where people were describing who I was as a teacher and what my class meant to them. Some of the stuff, I'm not sure why they recorded it, but there was a theme that resonated. My students said, she cares about me. And I can say to you today that although at times it feels like this profession is all-consuming, even draining, to be expected to give so much of yourself to the work that you do, I think it's a privilege, because not everyone has the ability or the capacity to give. So the fact that we are in a profession where we can do that every day is a privilege. So I say to you, don't wait for public investment or policy innovations. Yes, that would be great, but we already have so much control over the narrative surrounding this profession. We can take the steps to restoring the dignity and societal worth that others place on a teaching career by being purposeful in our interactions with students and the community. I spent a lot of time talking to my own students about their experiences with education and why many of them didn't see themselves represented in this profession. And my students said it was because many of their experiences at school were negative. As a country, I think we have to do a better job of ensuring that the quality of a child's education does not depend on the neighborhood where they grew up. For me, that's personal. I grew up in a very poor community in Waterbury, Connecticut. I said to someone at the reception today, Waterbury is not a place that anyone would ever visit on purpose. There's no reason to go there. But I love this city, and I love this community. It's the same city where I've lived all my life. It's the same school district where I myself was educated. When I was named, there were dozens of articles written about me, and my district was often referred to as a Title I district. That's education jargon. If you're an educator, you know what that means. And my students said to me, what does Title I mean? Why do they keep saying that? So I'm trying to explain to them it has to do with demographics and socioeconomic status and all of these educational terms, and they looked me square on and said, so a fancy way to say we're poor? And I says, I guess, a fancy way to say you're poor. And I only share that with you today because I need for you to understand the students that sit in front of me. But I was once one of those students. I went to those same schools and grew up in that same housing project. And nothing in my situation was an indicator that I would ever be college bound. I was a good student and I enjoyed school, but life made it difficult. I saw so many of my classmates who struggled for different reasons or had negative experiences. And I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere in this profession because when I looked around me, I never saw myself represented. But lucky for me, I came into contact with teachers who saw beyond my circumstances, with teachers who challenged me to imagine myself in a different place, no matter how difficult it would be to get there, with teachers who encouraged me to do more, to be more, to expect more. And I can stand here today and tell you that I was the first in my family to graduate from college. And that, at the end of the journey, it seems like it was a straight line to get there, but I can tell you that that journey was quite circuitous. Teachers inspired me to pursue my dreams so that I could make the same impact on the students that stand in front of me. I had teachers who encouraged me, who uplifted me, who empowered me. And today I remind you that our influence as educators extends beyond the classroom. We have an enduring presence and make a lasting impact. I remember every teacher who encouraged me. I also remember, and I don't know why I'm telling you this because it's not on my paper, a teacher who, we used to have open house, you know what open house is, we still do that. And we used to put all of our work in a folder and leave it for our parents to pick up. I lived with my grandmother. I was being raised by my grandmother, and my grandmother never went to open house. She was elderly and she didn't drive. And I remember the next day trying to rush into classroom to move my folder off my desk so that no one would understand, no one would know that my grandparents or that I was the only one who had no one show up at open house. So I got off the bus and I remember running in the building and I moved the folder and I felt really good, you know, I dodged a bullet here. But when we were lining up to go to the bathroom, I heard my teacher having a conversation with the teacher next door about, you know, how many people came for open house, how late were they there. And I don't think she realized that I could hear her, but my teacher said, I got out early. Those parents never come. They don't care enough to come. And I knew exactly who she was talking about, and I knew what she meant. And the sharpness of that comment still stings me today. You know, I have achieved so many things. I am an accomplished educator. But I remember the words of that one teacher. So when I tell you that teachers are superheroes, I want to remind you to use your power for good, because it doesn't go away. Kids remember the impact that we have, good or bad. And the best learning happens in the context of communities. If my teacher had taken a second to ask me about my grandmother, to get to know my family, she would have known that although my grandmother didn't drive and didn't come to open house, she was a tremendous cook who could bake anything without a cookbook. And she would have sent in treats for open house like she did for so many other teachers. If she had taken a moment to ask me about my grandmother, she would have known that my grandmother was incredibly active in our church and our community. She was a missionary, and she could have taken whatever message she was trying to share into the church so that my teacher would have a better opportunity to engage communities. If she had taken a moment to ask me about my community and the family that I came from, she would have known that While everything I learned about school, I learned at school, everything I learned about humanity, I learned at home. So I say to you, when we're changing the dialogue about education, let's change it together. Engage your students, engage their families, engage your communities. We must see the communities that we serve as assets. Find the gifts that those parents have and invite them into your classrooms. For you new teachers who are entering this profession, so much of our time is spent on content knowledge, perfecting a lesson plan, managing classroom strategies. I say to you today, the purpose of education is twofold: to build knowledge and character. Don't spend all your time just on content knowledge. Education is about giving students the skills to do amazing things, but also giving them worthy objectives to concentrate on. Engage students before they know they want to teach. Identify their potential and remind them every day of how great they are. I owe so much of who I am today to the teachers who did this for me. We have to accept as a profession that we cannot do this alone. All education does not happen in a classroom, and teachers do not have the monopoly on student learning. We have to embrace that knowledge and begin to teach as if our success is inextricably connected to the communities, the parents, and the students that we serve. I am so incredibly honored to have this year to share that message, because I think we take for granted that there's someone at home that's reinforcing the work that we do at school. Not everybody has someone at home. So for many of your students, you are the only ones saying this. You are the only ones doing this. It doesn't mean that their families don't care. It doesn't mean that their families don't support education. For many of those families, it's just that they don't know how. So do not take that responsibility lightly. As the National Teacher of the Year, I have learned that every community in this country faces similar challenges as the Title I district that I work in, whether it's urban, suburban, rural. I've gone to one-room schoolhouses in South Carolina. I still can't understand how we have one-room schoolhouses in 2017. But it has to be about the kids. I have a gauge that I use, and I've used it this year. People ask me, how do you remain grounded, after such a whirlwind year? I ask myself one question, and if I can't answer yes to this question every single time, then I need to do something different. Is this the education I'd want for my child? And honestly, there's been a few times where the answer to that has been no. And I've had to go back and really change who I am and what I do. So I say to you today, use your power for good. Share the positive things that happen in your schools, in your communities. Let people outside of education know who we are and what we do. Teachers thrive when they feel valued and respected. Value your teachers. People ask me, what is the most amazing thing that has happened this year? I met the president. I met Ellen DeGeneres. Ava Mendez. I was on the field at halftime during the college football playoff. You get it, amazing things. But probably the best feeling that I've had in this whole year is the day after I was announced, I went back to my school because we had a previously scheduled Earth Day cleanup. And if you could feel the energy that was in that building, it was palpable. My students were so proud of who they were and where they came from. Connecticut is a small state. You can drive through the whole state in an hour. We have some of the wealthiest communities and some of the poorest communities. I have the students who would come back and say, we went to a basketball game and the students had 3 uniforms before they got to their playing uniforms. The band was 150 strong. So oftentimes they were ashamed of their school or their community. But on that day, the day I walked in that building, my students were so proud of their school. And I can tell you that that is career changing It changes who you are. You can't go back from that. So as this year comes to an end, I keep saying, what more can I do? How can I be better? How can I make my students continue to be proud of me? As a teacher, I'm always reflecting on my practice. Did a lesson go well? Did I get the results that I thought I'd get? It rarely does. Where did my students struggle? Where did they succeed? I'm doing the same thing today as I'm rounding out this year, reflecting on everything that has happened and saying, how do I leverage this and take it back to my school and my community? I have learned so much from my students that they have actually helped me to become a better teacher. Their voices and their wisdoms are the lenses that I'm lacking. We all have a voice. We all can be advocates. Use your voice to shape the direction of education. I see nothing but promise in the faces of the students looking back at me. That's a powerful thing. On behalf of all the adults in the world, I apologize for the mess that we're turning over to you, but I'm so proud to be a part of this profession, and I'm so excited about the future because I have met the next generation of young people who will be our leaders, and they are capable of fixing it. Thank you.